All right, Michelle, we're live.
Hi,
Welcome,
Netta.
welcome. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm well. How are you? Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a great subject for today because it's
Yes.
Canadian Thanksgiving, which many people don't know about. We all know about your American Thanksgiving. There's no mystery there. You let us know all about it ahead of time. And then the little Canadian Thanksgiving comes along, and people are like, oh, really? Is it Thanksgiving?
I'm interested to know what your traditions are up there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm British, so I didn't grow up with
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. So I sort of, and I'm in Quebec, which is a little bit sort of less like
Hmm.
traditional in the English Canadian
Right.
way.
Okay.
But basically, as far as I can tell, most people get together as a family and have a special dinner. And from what I've been told in Quebec and for what I do, it doesn't really matter what you eat, you just make it up.
It's all about giving thanks, really, at the end. And you're right. What you eat doesn't and shouldn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday I made ham with a maple syrup glaze,
Oh,
which,
yum.
yeah, it was yum for everyone else except for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say you not so much with the syrup, right?
I
No.
tasted it,
Yeah.
and I was like, ooh, overwhelming.
What happens when you have a little sugar? What is your reactionary?
My reaction is, ugh.
Yeah. You don't have like a physical reaction, like a
I
stomach
do.
ache or something?
My taste buds feel overwhelmed. It's not a pleasant experience anymore.
Right.
Whereas, I've been sugar-free for 7 years, and before that, I was the world's number one sweet tooth. There was nothing that was too sweet
Hmm.
for me. And it's
Right.
just amazing how your taste buds can actually change.
Totally.
And it's been several years now where a sweet taste like that, maple syrup is all very natural and everything, but all the same, it's a sweet taste. My taste buds are like, ugh.
Yeah. You just don't enjoy
I
anymore.
don't, I mean, I enjoy the ham and I ate it without the glaze, fine. And
Mhm.
it's like, no, I don't enjoy it. And I don't find it sad not to enjoy it. I've been told a lot of times, oh, poor you. And I'm like, no, I'm perfectly happy. Thank you.
See, I really can relate to that because I feel like whether it's sugar, and that's what we're focused on today, or anything else in life that you break a habit of and society expects you to enjoy it, no matter what, because this is what a society says you should be doing, is enjoying your treats
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
on on your holidays. But really, when it's about being together and making memories. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
And not having society, for me at least, don't you tell me what a treat is for me. That's how I feel about society's sort of definition of what a treat is. And people's like comments when they say, oh, what a shame, you can't enjoy that anymore. I'm like, have we met? Do you not see that I enjoy all of my treats in life?
right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. So besides the honey ham, or the, I'm sorry, not honey ham,
Maple
we call it
syrup.
honey ham here, maple syrup ham. What other foods do you enjoy for Canadian Thanksgiving?
Turkey,
Okay, yeah,
we've
same,
made,
same, same. Yeah.
yeah, we've made that in the past. Yesterday we had roasted potatoes. I'm fine with potatoes cooked in
Hmm.
duck fat or boar fat.
Oh, yum.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
sounds
because
great.
we bought half a boar last year, local boar, and rendered down the fat, and we used that.
That sounds so amazing. See, I live in a city where that would never be available to me unless I like went out into the country, and I'm not opposed to it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Sounds delicious.
that's one advantage of living out in the middle of nowhere.
You absolutely live in the middle of nowhere, right?
Well, I mean, the nearest city is 700 kilometers from here.
That's a pretty far hike. Yeah.
I'm just going to invite anyone who's watching to
Yeah,
put your
absolutely.
comments here and ask any
Yeah.
questions to myself or to Michelle about how to deal with the holidays. And we'll get to what we mean by holidays in just a minute. Now, today, because it's Canadian Thanksgiving, we're talking about Canadian Thanksgiving. So, what was on my plate yesterday? The ham, the roasted potatoes in boar fat. I
Mm.
think it was boar fat rather than duck fat. I made Brussels sprouts with Parmesan cheese.
Oh, sounds so good.
I
Now you're
made
giving me
green,
ideas.
yeah, green beans, sorry. What else did we, oh, I made a salad, tomato and basil salad with olive oil as
Oh
a
my
side.
gosh, that sounds incredible.
Yeah. And I don't usually have dessert after a meal, in the sense that if I'm still hungry after a meal, which is
Hmm.
pretty rare because
Hmm.
my meals are filling and nutritious, but
Sure.
if I feel like something else after a meal, I'll just have an extra helping of the meal.
Of course, yeah.
But yesterday I made for the others, there were 5 of us, I made for the others a pavlova. Do you know what a pavlova is?
I've heard of it. Just fill me in a little bit.
I made a meringue nest, because I'd used up the egg yolks
Okay.
to make my hollandaise sauce, which is to die
Oh,
for breakfast. And that I was left with the whites. So I said to
yeah.
my daughter, "What can I make with the egg whites so I don't have to throw them away?" And I thought, oh, she said, "Mummy, make some meringue." So I made little meringue nests and put in
Oh,
whipped cream and raspberries and made a mini pavlova. And I just ate the raspberries and the whipped cream, which I didn't put sugar on it, in
that
it. So,
sounds
and
good.
the others at their dessert.
That it sounds amazing, and I really would love to try to make a pavlova because I've heard of it, and now I'm dying to try.
Yeah, I mean, it's got sugar in it, which is,
Well, yeah, but it sounds like it's minimal. It sounds like it's on the healthier side of things. Now we're dealing with Thanksgiving on our side coming up, along with
Halloween.
Halloween, which is a
Oh.
yeah, right, with the sugar and the candy. Um, I guess let's do you all celebrate Halloween?
Yeah,
And you do.
Halloween's a big thing here. Yes.
Okay. All
And it
right.
was in England as well. It's just a bit different in England, but
Yeah.
definitely here it's a huge thing.
Yeah. So you have the trick or treating, the candy overload, and the sugar overload. It's just total chaos.
It is. It is. How do you deal with it with your kids? Because you have young
Well,
kids.
I do. They're 5 and 8. And my tactic in the past has been the night of Halloween, you're allowed to choose one piece of candy, and then I take your bag or your bucket or whatever you have. And then basically what I'll do is I'll go through it, and for safety reasons and make sure everything's not open. And then I will just keep it in a closet somewhere for maybe a few days and use them as, a little reward system for like the next week or so. And then I just chuck it all in the trash. I'm not kidding. It goes into the trash.
Okay. And
And
have you
my,
done this forever or just recently?
no, pretty much forever.
Hmm.
When I was growing up, my mother I wasn't allowed to have any sugar. And it wasn't a pleasant situation, always, but she would hide it from us immediately. And we'd never see it again. So I want to give my kids a little bit of something, but at the same time, it's like I see immediately their behaviors change, when they have that really processed, gross candy sugar that you get trick or treating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I'm curious to know how it made you feel yourself as a kid when the treats were hidden from you.
well, as a child, I remember feeling sad about it because um, I knew all my other friends, they were always bragging about how much candy they had, and their parents didn't care if they ate candy. In hindsight, I'm not mad about it. As an adult, I understand and I'm grateful.
Hmm.
Um, but my father would sometimes hide a few and allow us throughout the year to like have a piece of candy here and there. So
Yeah, yeah. So it wasn't completely off the table, but it was
it
kind of,
it
yeah,
was though.
eked out.
Yeah. My dad had to
And
sneak it.
yeah, yeah. Well, that was my next question. I just want to invite people who are watching to let us know how you celebrated Halloween when you were a kid, if you're allowed sugar or candies or not. So did you find yourself having this kind of sneaky behavior because the candy was hidden from you?
Yeah. It
Mm.
translated into my adult life. And
Mm.
I truly believe, you know, it played a role in my sugar addiction ultimately,
Yeah.
because I was so deprived for so long. And I'm not saying go feed your kids a bunch of sugar. I've said this before, but I feel like a little bit here and there because when they go off on their own in life, they're going to be presented with all these options. And if they're not allowed to taste the options as a child, it's almost as if like somebody's been released from prison and then now they go crazy. Like that's what happened to me. And as I went absolutely nuts, I'm like, wait a second, I can eat a cookie whenever I want to now. Like when I
Yeah,
left for university,
right.
that's how it happened. And then
That's
I
how it
gained
happened.
all
It's
that
a
weight.
classic sort of reaction to feeling deprived. You know, you've
Mhm.
got the control, parental control, the kid is feeling deprived, and then when they're off on their own, all heck breaks loose, and it's
Oh
just,
yeah.
yeah. Is that
It's
what happened to you?
for me, that's kind of how I feel it went down. I also feel like after you have kids as a woman, you have a hormonal, lots of hormones going on, and you're not quite sure what to do. I was extremely depressed after I had my kids, and I would hide in the closet and eat Reese's peanut butter cups, and then hide it in the trash,
Yeah.
cover it all up. I don't want to go back there
I can
ever.
imagine. I can imagine. Yeah, yeah. All different layers of how difficult that was.
It was I felt a lot of shame around it, you know? Um, Now if I want a piece of candy, which it's funny because now when I taste those Reese peanut butter cups, it tastes like chemicals to me, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"I'd rather
there's a
just have
good
a
thing
scoop
about
of peanut
taste.
butter."
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was just going to ask that, does the taste now sort of trigger these memories that are not actually happy memories?
Yes. Yes,
Mm,
it does. And
mm,
that's why, if I pass by, like, if I'm in the store and I'm passing by all the Halloween candy and stuff and I see them, I'm like, "Oh, that was my kryptonite.
mm.
Maybe I'll just buy 1 bag." And then I'm like, "Eh, I don't
Yeah,
want it because I remember that taste. It
yeah.
doesn't taste good anymore to me. Like, I'd rather really just have peanut butter or peanuts or, like a little piece of dark chocolate or something. Like,
Mm.
definitely not the
Or
same taste.
or something that doesn't remind you of that difficult part of your life.
100%.
I get it. Okay. Yeah, because for my child, she's 14 now, and I've been
Mhm,
sugar-free for 7 years. I've been sugar-free for the half of her life. She's had in front of her this example, and I'm
mhm.
not saying that I'm some sort of model. I'm just saying that's just who I
Yeah,
am now,
sure.
of a sugar-free mum or a sugar-free person. And when she was younger, I don't think actually, compared with when I was eating sugar and I was stealing her candies, the sneakiness was on my side, wasn't it? I don't think she's ever done that because
Mhm.
it's never been controlled by
Right,
myself, right? So she's never had to resort to sneaky behavior, but
right.
I did.
It's hard. It's a hard a feeling to battle with.
Hmm.
And I would definitely say if you have those feelings of shame around any food, you need to reevaluate.
Yeah, and including the parents, who need to keep an eye out for their own approach to sugar and
Mhm.
to these types of foods, their own approach to their child, their own approach to control, all those kinds of things to see what that is actually, that domino effect,
Right.
and so I think, if I was quite aware of the fact that from my friends around me that controlling behavior on the parents' part very often, not always, but very often can lead to that kind of sneaky behavior on the child's part. We've had that experience ourselves. So when I stopped eating sugar, my very first Halloween, without resorting to
Mm,
stealing my kids' candy or just buying bags for myself,
right. Eating it
it
all
was,
before Halloween.
yeah, that was Halloween 2015 for me.
Wow.
Right. So I remember kind of feeling very weird and wondering, how am I going to have any fun at Halloween without the candies? It's
Right.
like if you take away the candies, you take away all my fun.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, like setting myself this challenge of, let's see, Netta, if you can have fun without the candies. Let's
Mm,
see if it's totally possible
of
to
course.
take away the
Yeah.
candies and yet have fun.
And how did you go about, you know, that fun and replacing something else with those
Yeah,
sugary chemically treats?
right. So that whole first year, that first Halloween and other holiday, you know, events, as it were, forced me, or I forced myself to reevaluate my definition of treats, first of all, and my definition of fun.
Yeah.
And it was like, it felt like if you take away this element, there is no fun left whatsoever. But as I said, this whole situation, the sugar-free situation, forced me to reevaluate that cause and effect thing, as if it used to feel like it was absolutely true,
Mhm.
no other way of living.
Right.
And then I discovered that, wait a minute, I can decide how I want to live, how I want to feel, what I want to eat, how I want to have fun, what fun is for me. All those
Right.
things are totally within my control. And I'm in
100%.
charge here, not sugar.
Yeah, and that goes for everything, right? You're in charge, nobody
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
And that's I think that's a hard pill for people to swallow when it comes to getting healthy and weight loss in general. Is that you are in control.
yeah,
You
yeah.
decide.
It doesn't feel like you are when you're giving your control away to something like sugar, but actually you are, and you can only kind of regain that I call it power more than control, really, but you can only regain that power when you let go of what you've
Yeah,
given away your power to.
sure.
So it had to be a relatively sort of extreme situation, like not eating candy at Halloween for
Hmm.
most of us is pretty
Yeah.
extreme.
Mhm.
And but then it turned out not to be extreme at all, because then we had the costumes. That was fun for me. And
Yeah.
then we had the trick or treating and watching my daughter with, you know, stars in her eyes and, oh, mummy, look what I've got, the big bag. That was a treat and fun for me. We had friends over for a
Yeah.
party with a dinner. That was fun for me. It was all fun.
That's amazing, and I love all of those ideas. For me, I actually would am dying to throw a Halloween party, so that's one thing on my radar. But seeing the kids dressing up, and I am a huge fan of Halloween. I usually dress up too.
Me too.
Watching the joy in their face, watching the other neighborhood children come to my door, or whatever it is, the decorations, all of it. I don't have to have candy to enjoy Halloween.
Yeah.
It's not necessary.
Yeah, it is possible. It's just getting that inside of our heads that it's absolutely possible. Not necessarily easy the first time around,
No.
but it's possible to
I'd
have
say
fun.
the first year I was fasting, and the first Halloween that I was, it just changed everything. I did have a couple of pieces of candy in my eating window, and I felt like that really helped my power. And so that kind of helped me, but then, like, as the years have gone on now, I don't even really crave it at Halloween. Like, I see all this candy and I'm like, ugh, that really, you know what I see? A stomach ache.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
for me
and
anyway.
yeah, it's exactly because you've got that sort of distance from it, and I see sneaky behavior because I used to steal my kids'
That too.
bars when she was in bed, and she knew it. She knew. She told me years after, "Mom, I know you were stealing my." I'm like, they're
That's
smarter
awesome.
than you think.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh. Uh,
So it's like that, you know, my point, and the sort of point of our life today is to kind of give this permission to people watching, that you are allowed to have fun without sugar, that it's possible, that it does, like taking the sugar out of the equation does in no way equal a sad and dull life. On the contrary, it allows you to find 101 other sources of joy and fun without the stomach ache for you, without the sneaky behavior for
right.
me, you know?
The physical, the emotional reaction that you have from it,
Yeah.
it's not worth it to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, yeah.
And what about like the social pressure? Do you feel social pressure? Because you're an intermittent faster, as I am. Uh, do you feel social pressure at holidays, whether it's Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, if you celebrate that? Do you feel the social pressure to eat at the same time as everyone else and eat everything that everyone else is eating?
The first year I was kind of feeling a little weird in my I was kind of in my head about it. Um, then this has been my third holiday season as an intermittent faster, and I don't. As the years have now gone on, like my second year and stuff, people just know, my family knows the way I live and how I roll, and um, I generally will go ahead and certain days extend my windows in the holiday season. Just to, if it's a dinner. But I'm not going to change the way I'm eating on Christmas morning because it's Christmas.
Okay.
Because the thing is I've tried that because I'm like, oh, it's Christmas. I'm just going to open my, I'm going to eat breakfast this morning. And let me be clear, there are mornings I do have breakfast and wake up and eat that I'm like ill or something else and I need it. But on
Mhm.
holidays, if I'm feeling good and I wake up and I, it's just another day to me. Am I going to enjoy the holiday food with you later when my window opens? 100%. Am I going to enjoy a holiday breakfast with you? Nah, probably not. I'll sip on my black coffee,
Mhm.
water.
And you'll sit with your family and you'll enjoy
Yeah,
it like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. My
Yeah.
kids they're young, and my oldest just turned 8. And so I don't think he even remembers a time when I was eating in the morning. He he's like, wait a second, you used to look like that and you used to eat breakfast? I'm like, yeah. So
Yeah. And
it's
it's
just
not like you're
strange.
telling your kids, do not eat breakfast.
No. On the contrary, I'm trying to shove breakfast down their throat. They don't want to eat ever. They're like not big. And to be fair, I was never a breakfast person.
Mm.
Growing up, I felt like like stomach sick in the morning sometimes, maybe anxiety, and I'd be forced breakfast because it's the most important meal of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking
Um,
about that last night at our dinner with my family. They were saying, not my immediate family, but our guests were saying, yeah, no, because my kid was saying, oh, I didn't have breakfast this morning, and her aunt was saying, but breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And my kid says, well, not if you don't want any.
I love that response. I am giving your daughter a round of applause for that response because my oldest son, he's like his mom. He does not like breakfast, and he was having some health issues where in the morning he was like vomiting and stuff, and I didn't know why. I just thought it was anxiety or something. And I was pushing breakfast on him every morning. I'm like, you have to eat. You have to eat before you go to school. I felt so nervous sending him to school with nothing to eat. I mean, he would have like some water or juice or whatever, and then he would just not be, I'm not hungry, mommy. I'm like, but you have to eat. So, long story short, I stopped pushing the breakfast on him. I allow him, I'm like, here's your choices. And if you're hungry, go ahead and eat. If you're not, I'm going to put an extra snack into your lunch pail and you can have it at snack time at 10 o'clock.
Mhm.
And he's 100% fine with that. And guess
Yeah.
what? He stopped having his symptoms in the morning.
Well done. Well done, Mum. Yeah. Yeah. It's really tough to step out of what we've always been told.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. And I remember in England at Christmas time, my Christmas breakfast was after eight mints. You know what they are? Those after eights?
No.
I don't think Americans know them so much, but they're very, very thin wafer chocolates with like a mint filling inside, very thin
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, in England, like everybody knows what
That's
after
what you
eight.
eat for is that like a breakfast food there?
No, it's a chocolate.
No, it's just like a chocolate. That's what you would eat for breakfast.
Although in the United States, I get the feeling that chocolate is a breakfast food. But
It
anyway,
is.
that's a different life for us. But
Chocolate pancakes and whatnot. No.
yeah, but anyway, that Christmas morning was synonymous with me getting up early in the morning and eating after eights, right? And
Mm,
so, and right into adulthood, all my
mm,
life, I did
yeah.
it. It was like my my special treat at Christmas time. And then when I went sugar-free, and I thought that was the most difficult thing for me. The Halloween candy, okay. Thanksgiving, it's not I didn't grow up with that anyway. But the Christmas after eights, I was like, what am I going to do? This has been my treat forever, all my life. And I was in my 40s when I stopped sugar. So it was a long time. So then the first year, what I did was I made sugar-free equivalents of after eight mints. So it was, I took some coconut, it wasn't coconut milk. You can get sort of coconut paste as it is. It's like, it doesn't have any added anything. It's just coconut sort of as a paste. And I made like patties, you know, like those Junior Mint things that you have. I made like patties, and I dipped them in homemade chocolate, which is basically coconut oil and cocoa powder.
Right. That sounds
I made them, and I put a little bit of mint essence, you know, food grade mint essence in the patties, and it was fine. That I got that mint and chocolate mix.
It filled that for you, like it with that craving was completed. That's awesome.
It was fine for the first year. I was okay. For the second year, I was okay. The third year, I said, why am I doing this? And it started, you know, and I was like, I'm okay now.
Yeah. So,
and they weren't even sweet.
Yeah, no, I mean, they don't sound very sweet, but I can see where, you know, it's been ingrained in you your whole life. This is what I've done. This is what I've done. This is how it's always been.
That's really difficult to let go of.
It is.
Yeah. And it's like, and, you know, when you go sugar-free, well, for me at least, you kind of take a step backwards from these traditions to just question them, not to say that they're not good anymore or that you're never going to do them again, just to question them, you know, and to think, well, how can I tweak the tradition so that I still get the fun, still get the enjoyment, still get the togetherness with my family. I just don't get, in your case, the stomach ache, the weight gain, in my case, the behavioral, you know, the sneakiness or the can't stop eating, you know, I don't want that that's no fun.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. You know, so we've talked about Halloween candy and a little Christmas. What are some other Christmas traditions that have, you know, been in your family that you've kind of tweaked over the years to adapt?
I mean, I suppose the other thing that I used to eat at Christmas was those Terry's chocolate oranges.
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about. The ones that like break apart and
Yeah,
it's an
you
orange.
can smash them and break them apart.
Yes.
And so again, you know, I sort of, the first couple of years, 2015, 2016, I sort of recreated this mix of chocolate and orange, where I would make myself a hot chocolate with cocoa powder, good quality, or cacao, if you prefer, in hot water with either coconut milk or heavy cream mixed in, no sugar, and a few drops of orange, either orange liqueur or sort of orange flower water, or even like the orange essence, you know, food grade. And that would see me through that sort of need for the mix of the chocolate and the orange flavor. And again, after a couple of years, I was like, I just don't need that anymore. I've created my new traditions.
Right. So one tradition that I have been obsessed with my whole life is cookies, Christmas cookies. I used to turn into this like crazy person like about a week before Christmas, and I would turn my entire kitchen into like a cookie factory. And even before I had kids, I just loved it, and I would give them out to people, but then I would also eat like half of them.
Okay.
And so that was really not good. So one thing that I've done, because my kids love to bake cookies with me and I don't want to take that joy from them, I've just simplified it. And instead of coming up with all of these eccentric, complicated cookie recipes that require a lot of work, you know, we're just dumbing it down, and we're going to make we're going to make two different types of cookies, and I'll make them with you. I will participate in the process. I'm going to help you, and we're going to have a load of fun, and then we're going to package them up and we're going to give them to our neighbors and
Oh,
we're going to give
nice.
them to our teachers. And
Yeah.
so we give a lot of them out. The kids do keep some for themselves. I generally try to stay away from Christmas cookies. I do want, I'll enjoy one in my window, here and there, but as a whole, I just don't have a taste for them like I used to.
Yeah. And can you moderate that? Can you just eat one or two?
I can now.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
now.
I'm
It
impressed.
it took me a while to get there,
Yeah.
but I 100% will say that the fasting has helped me regain that power to say, I don't need to eat 10 cookies in a row, in the closet or in the corner or out
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
garage.
And what is it about the fasting that has helped you with the cookies?
I think I mean science my science brain is going. I feel like it's keeping my insulin low all day, and I don't really have that huge sugar craving anymore because my insulin is so low all day.
Mhm.
Um, and now I've been living this way for almost 3 years, so I don't crave the cookies anymore, like
Okay.
almost at all. And when Christmas comes, it's almost like a chore for me, but I do it for the kids. You know.
Gotcha. Yeah. And it doesn't require willpower from you?
Um, no, because I tend to try to make cookies I don't really like.
Okay. Which ones?
I just keep it simple. Like I'll make sugar cookies, just plain sugar cookies from, the kids can decorate them because they enjoy the decoration part of it more than the baking. And then just chocolate chip. That's it.
Okay. All
We
right.
just keep it very simple.
Okay. All right. And I invite people watching to, if you want to ask us questions about,
Please.
yeah, any challenges for the holiday season, we've got a few holiday seasons under our belts now.
So many coming. I'm getting a little like anxious because I feel like I should be doing something. And I haven't done anything.
Oh, yeah, and the thing is for our kids, yours are younger than my daughter, but still, it's like I found that there's other ways than just the sugar. I'm not saying zero sugar, but I'm saying there's other ways for us to prepare the holiday season, have fun during the holiday season, spend time together, quality time, that, our kids are quite happy, even
Yeah.
happier when we're spending quality time with them. And whether or not there's cookies is kind of inconsequential.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we make cookies for, like I said, they have a few. We give them out. We give some to Santa, because Santa has to have cookie.
Oh yeah,
But
he's not
but
sugar free.
last year I last year I forced them to give Santa some vegetables too.
How
Because
did that go down?
I it went down great because I said Santa needs healthy food too, so he has enough energy to make it around.
Santa's like, oh, come on.
The kids were like, "Okay, ma," My older one was a little bit more into it than the younger one, but
Yeah,
um
fine, go with the flow. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think some other options are, besides cookies and sugary things, we love going around and driving around and looking at all the Christmas decorations in the neighborhoods around. It's just such a
Mm.
treat for my kids. They love that because you're spending time with them.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. You're spending time with them. You're actually present with them and not thinking about how am I going to get, how am I going to sneak the cookie so that they don't see me, It's
Right.
you're
Right.
100% there. And you're not also thinking about, oh, I've got stomach ache and I need to run to the toilet or I've gone and put on 5 pounds this holiday season or whatever.
Before the fasting, I probably, you might be able to relate, but every holiday season I put on about 5, 10 pounds. January 1st, I'm going to lose it. And then, I'd lose a couple pounds. And then each year it would pack on, pack on, pack on. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. The great thing with living an intermittent fasting life is that even if you do put on a couple pounds on the holidays, it comes right back off in
Yeah.
almost
I
a
mean,
blink of an eye.
well, you know what you need to do to get those pounds off. You know how the body works. You know about the
Right.
insulin. It's not about the calories, and so you've got those tools. It's like you've got that power.
You've got the power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we've got Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas. Any other? Are there any others that you know? I know other people celebrate other types
Yeah.
of traditions.
Well, we have what other we have Hanukkah is
Mhm.
coming up, and that's 8 days. So that's a lot of food and a lot of
And a
celebrations.
lot of fried food.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, do we have any Jewish friends with us that can kind
I
of
don't know. You can tell us.
weigh in? I
Yeah,
don't know the Jewish traditions, but I'm sure there's lots of food involved and sugary treats, just like in
yeah.
with
There's the
Christmas.
donuts. There's the fried donuts.
We have those too. I'm Italian. We have it's called zeppole. Zeppole. Am I saying that right? I don't know. It's just basically fried dough. They're like
Yeah.
these little balls of fried dough, and then you pour honey all over it and sprinkles. I'm like, I, honestly, it's never been like something that I wanted because I think it looks not good to me. But
Okay.
like for my husband, it's something that he grew up with, and
Yeah.
it is not Christmas without it.
Mm. Yeah. And it's like I have seen for things like taking mass or the Jewish traditions or whatever kind of traditions that involve ingesting something. I have
Yeah,
seen people who are high on the susceptibility scale of food addiction or sugar addiction, which I'm not very high on, but um, I've seen them say, I cannot go to mass and eat the wafer without it triggering me, right?
really.
Up to that point, there's a whole range, of reactions and to triggers, and they're
Well, I
all
mean,
totally valid.
the chewing can release the ghrelin
The
hormone.
chewing, the fact that the wafer is just made out of flour and water, so the flour
Yeah.
itself,
Uh-huh.
it can trigger some people because it can
Uh-huh.
still create an insulin spike. And also like the social pressure, or not even social pressure, it's just like you've always done this, what we were talking about today. This is a very important tradition if you're, eating, I don't know, the bread on Friday night or the fried, I can't remember the names for them, but the donuts
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Hanukkah or whatever, um, the cookies for Christmas. It's like it's not just coming along and saying, "Oh yeah, no, you can't eat any of those anymore." It's much deeper than that,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
I get the resistance to changing any of that because it's all about your own like relationship, not
Yeah.
just with the food but with the tradition itself. And it's a long process to tweak it all and to feel that you're still respecting the tradition even
Right.
if you don't eat every single thing.
I think it's important to, like you said, you can still respect a tradition and not have to like. If I'm at church and mass, if I'm taking mass, I'm taking the sacrament, and it's not in my eating window, and I'm concerned, or maybe I've had this response before. Take the sacrament, be polite, and then maybe put it in your pocket or put it in a bag or something and go eat it when your window opens.
Hmm.
I promise you, Jesus will still love you.
Yeah. And even if you don't never eat it, that it's like the intention is goes over and above the
Right.
actual
Yes.
flour and
Right.
water thing,
Right.
you
Or
know.
simply just open your window earlier that day. Have an earlier window. Close
Yeah.
it earlier.
There's ways and means to
Of
navigate those things.
Yes,
Yeah, but I
absolutely.
mean, it's not easy the first year,
Yeah.
especially to have all of you realize that, and I posted about this on the Life After Sugar page today. You
Yeah.
realize every season has its
Yeah.
traditions there's sugar in all of them.
I mean, we just talked about 3 holidays, right? 4 including Hanukkah because we have different religions. And then so that's just the religious holidays. Thanksgiving's not a religious holiday. But then you
Halloween
go,
kind of isn't
oh,
really
no, not really.
pagan.
Pagan? Okay. So but yes, so then now you have what? You have New Year's Eve. What do we do on New Year's Eve? We eat, we drink, we have parties. So that's another tradition.
Yeah.
You can still have those traditions. You can count down. You can have a glass of champagne, but maybe don't have, you know, all the pies, or don't have any pie. You don't need it. You just
Mhm.
don't.
Yeah.
Um, but that's surrounded by foods and sweet treats. And then what comes next?
The
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, Easter, uh,
St.
yeah,
Patrick's Day, which isn't really like super sugary, but like it's full of alcohol, which is basically sugar.
right.
You know, and then it just goes on and on from there.
Yeah, yeah. Everything, yes. And that also in between, you've got family get-togethers and barbecues and
Mhm.
work functions and all that kind of anniversaries, birthdays and whatever. And
Yes.
and so that what helped me in the first year or two was, as I said at the beginning, is to kind of like to set myself the challenge of seeing, let's see how much fun you can have when you take away these foods for which you've given away your power to have fun. And you've got this belief, it's a question of beliefs, really. You've got this belief that you cannot have any fun, enjoyment, whatever, when those foods are off the table, quite literally.
Yeah.
And my advice, as it were, for people who are wondering, how am I ever going to have fun again if I don't eat fill in the blanks
Mm.
during this fill
Yeah.
in the blanks traditional holiday? How am I ever going to have any fun? And my advice is try it and see. Try it and see, and let's see, that will allow you to find the fun within yourself.
Right.
And if you it's like I told myself, if you can't have any fun without these sugary foods, then the problem is not the foods. It's in your own attitude towards not just the foods, towards life.
It's time to take a deeper dive. It's
Yeah,
not just the food.
yeah. And
Yeah.
that's why I call it life after sugar, because life after sugar is that appreciation of all the wonderful things in life, even the teeny tiny things,
Yeah.
and even the absence of sugar, because it equates to the absence of what you were saying, the stomach aches, the weight gain, the crashes in energy, the digestive issues like I used to have, all of that.
Yeah. And that, January 1st shame train where everybody's telling you to, oh, it's time, Weight Watchers commercials are inundating your TV, and you have, uh, gyms inundating your
Yeah,
TV,
yeah,
offering specials and stuff and trying to get your money. Um, that can
yeah,
all be avoided because, when you live a sugar free or a less sugar lifestyle combined with intermittent fasting, you don't have to worry about all that anymore. The first year, yes, you're on it. That
yeah.
it's
It's
gonna be it's
new.
gonna be a challenge.
Yeah,
It's different. And but if you can get first through that first year, guess what? You did it.
yeah,
You can get through the next one and then the next one. And then it's not even a question. It's not hard. It is what it is.
yeah.
Like, I don't dread the holiday season anymore with it when it comes to food, when it comes to that weight gain and inflammation. I used to dread it every year. Every year. I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yes, you've got that experience now. Yeah. And the proof that your life is better now, not
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah. You have to look at the end game and know that getting to that doesn't come quickly.
Mm. Yeah,
Nothing worth it is quick.
yeah. I mean, I agree that the first year, that first 12 months, and I would even say kind of 15 months, in the sense that the first 3 months is just like, you're like, whoa. And then it takes
Yeah.
another 12 months to
Mhm.
get through all of the holidays and all of the traditions and
Yeah.
all of the birthdays and whatever, for you to, and I think it's difficult to go it alone. I mean,
Mhm.
it was really difficult for me, which is why I sort of offer the support and
Of
the, the,
course.
the guidance for others to do that for the first year or the first 15 months, so that you're not on your own. So you've got someone there, like yourself, like myself, who's been there, done that. We know the pitfalls.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, we're here and we're happy to help, and um, I'm so grateful for you having me here today.
You're
I'm
welcome.
I love this subject. I'm actually going to be doing a special holiday episode on my own show, and it's going to be all about this type of getting through the holidays,
Yeah.
without the pressures and the societal expectations of us to eat and drink until we explode. Um, it's not necessary. And
No,
in the end, it will take time. It takes time.
it takes time. It takes time and it takes awareness, you
Yeah.
know. Can you tell us the name of your show so everyone can go and find it?
Sure. It's called Fast and Fabulous. It's a podcast and it's available on all good platforms. Love to have you listen. And yeah, we have a special episode coming up soon in the next week or so, having some special guests answer questions about just what we're talking about: holiday eating, fasting through the holidays, eating less sugar. You know, this is a huge topic right now.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that we got to talk about it.
Thank you. So am I. Thank you,
Thanks for
Michelle.
having me, Netta.
We'll do other lives together for other subjects for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Anytime, anytime. It goes so good to see you and have a rest of your happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. See you
See
later.
you.
Bye.
Bye.